Hello, family. This is your girl, Nicole Bozeman, your mindset transformational coach, founder, and creator of Crystals, Diamonds, and Pearls. And I'm going to wait a few moments to allow both my Instagram family and my Facebook family to come on board. It says you are being notified that I am here live. I want to say hello, good afternoon, happy Thursday. And I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk to you about something really, really important that I'm discovering as I'm taking my beautiful journey of growing in my grief, and I'm sharing it with you all and showing you how you too can grow in your grief and really begin to find balance in your emotional and mental body, as well as feeling connected to yourself physically. Are you ready to do that? I'm going to wait a few more moments. And while I'm waiting and while you are joining me, do me a favor as you're coming inside to the crystal room. Will you invite a friend, a loved one, a family member, a co-worker, a neighbor, somebody that you know are dealing with this emotional imbalance? And it's not in a bad sense. This is feeling imbalanced in our bodies and in our mindsets and our thought processes, because we are in this phase of our lives we call menopause, where we're transitioning our thought processes and our mindsets, where we're really starting to dig into our behaviors and habits and relationships to discover which ones are really viable in our lives today, where we are today. And for those of you who may find yourself as empty nesters, that would be me. How we can reactivate our vitality, heck, find out and upgrade our love language. And I wanted to come on and I wanted to share with you this thing we call lather, rinse, repeat cycle. And to show you how you can begin to get off of it. Sometimes we don't even realize we're even on this lather, rinse, repeat cycle, but we really are. These are dissimilar and mindsets, behaviors, attitudes, thought processes, how we are having results, how we're responding to circumstances and relationships and experiences and encounters and situations. Are you responding or reacting? And today I wanted to share with you how you can begin to find balance in your unstable peace. How many of you know that, we are finding ourselves, and as a society, we are in a space right now where our peace is not stable? How many of you all feel safe right now? Safe to walk out your door, knowing that you can go to a destination or a location and do what you need to do and have that experience, or go shopping or meet a friend or have a meal and feel safe. Allow your children or your loved ones to take a bus ride, to take a subway train ride, heck, to get on an airplane and feel safe. Do you feel safe in your finances and in your resources? I have to be honest with you. I don't feel safe. I don't feel protected. I feel like I'm out here in this society, in this environment today, in a space of just not feeling protected. Like I don't feel like my love, safety, and belonging are intact. They're not present. They're present, but they're not secured, they're not buckled down. And oftentimes we find ourselves, I found myself on this lather, rinse, repeat cycle in my life. And it put me on these emotional roller coaster rides of craziness that I just couldn't seem to stop or get off of or slow down long enough to figure out what is sitting on my possibility, what is limiting me from activating my vitality. Why is my peace so unstable? Oh my gosh. And I discovered that there were three things that occur that manifest, that show up when our peace is unstable. Can I share with you those things? I'm learning how to grow in my grief, and that's what we're talking about. And again, let me introduce myself if I haven't before. My name is Nicole Bozeman. I'm your mindset transformational coach. I am founder and creator of Crystals, Diamonds, and Pearls. And I'm also the creator of this amazing e-course, this 5-week journey called Grow in Your Grief. It is my 5-year journey, or actually my 8-year journey, but I really delved in and started this transformational process 5 years ago when I connected with my own personal coach as I began to go through my process of becoming a certified transformational life coach, which is what I do now, which is what I love to do. But as I was preparing and going through that process and that journey and that space of healing, I found a safe space. I found a support system that really allowed me to open up the pain in my heart and be real with myself and not be afraid or intimidated to say, hey, I don't like this. This is how I feel. This is what I'm feeling, and begin to really identify, where am I grieving in my life? Why am I grieving? What is fueling this grief that is putting me on these emotional roller coaster rides that I was taking and I found myself on? And one thing I found is that I was living in, and I was sitting in, unstable peace. And I couldn't understand, well, first of all, I couldn't wrap my mind around, how can my peace be unstable? But when I began to uncover and discover that there were behaviors and thought processes that I was dealing with that had me hostage, that held me in this mindset of certain beliefs and behaviors had to take place. And I realized that mindset, those thought processes, was really causing my peace to be unstable. But what it looked like and what it felt like was other people's behaviors having control over my emotional reaction or response, right? Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like the way somebody else behaves, it literally is the thing that kind of controls how we respond and or react to a situation? And I'm going to share with you what it looks like and why we do it and how we can really begin to let go of those bad habits and behaviors. So one thing I discovered when I began to realize that I was really living in unstable peace, my desire for peace in my life was not created on a solid foundation. It was unstable. And because it was unstable, it created these emotional roller coaster rides and experiences and these mental breaks and experiences that just were making me feel imbalanced. Yes. And so one thing that I discovered that was happening was that I found myself in this, if they do, then I will syndrome. What does that look like? It looked like this. And it sounded like this. Well, if they would only do this, then perhaps I wouldn't feel this way. Or if they would just listen to me, I wouldn't have to be acting this way. Or if they would just understand me, then I wouldn't need to do. It became of, if they did, then I would do. Or I would experience. And what I realized is, with that mindset, it will always put me in this space of reacting to someone or somebody's behavior. And when you are finding a space where you are reacting to something or someone, you have given your emotional power and your peace to them. Yeah. And when I find myself at 55, 56, getting ready to turn 57, almost 60, and I realize that my unstable peace was coming because I was depending upon somebody else to do something in order for me to have the type of experience or response that I desire to have. Have you ever done that? Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever found yourself in a relationship, a situation, a experience, a moment where they were depending on you to respond a certain way to their emotions, to their feelings, to a situation that occurred, to an experience, to a memory? And when you did not respond accordingly, or you did not respond how they thought you should, it put them in this crazy roller coaster, emotional imbalance. And what you saw, what you experienced was their reaction to it. Or have you ever found yourself in that situation? I know I have. Where because somebody didn't say something or react a certain way, my response or my reaction to it put me in a place of instability, not them. But then I turned around and said it was their fault. But it wasn't. And when I learned to grow in my grief, I discovered that they weren't sitting on my possibilities. And they weren't preventing me from activating my vitality. They weren't stopping me from being or feeling imbalanced. I was doing that to myself because I required something from people that they could not give. And I had to learn how to be okay with them being right where they are. And sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do, especially when we're standing in the place of our parental power or we're in parental power overload. We're getting this space of needing control. But what happens is that we begin to react, and our reaction causes our peace to become unstable. So we have to get out of this if they do, then I will cycle. And the best way to do that, really, is to realize that you don't have control over their reaction. And the truth of the matter is, why would you want it? It's tiring. It's draining trying to control somebody else's response or reaction. Yes? So we're going to learn how to let them go and let them be okay where they are. And you be okay with where they are. So that was one way that we allow our peace to become unstable. Another way that we do is that we turn our power, like I said, over to their behavior. It's that they have to respond or react in a certain way for us to be satisfied. Now talk about limiting your ability to respond because we're always reacting out of our emotional space. And a lot of times it's in that emotional space where we're the most imbalanced. But yet we're responding to other people's reactions to us. When we do that, we give our power over to their behavior. So what happens if their behavior does not meet your standards? What if their behavior puts you back in your lather, rinse, repeat cycle of life? Then what? How do you find the stability in your peace when your peace is controlled or dictated or determined by their behavior. I learned as I was growing in my grief, when I began to release those hindrances in my own mindset, that I allowed me to set them free from having to do this song and pony dance for me, to make me feel like I'm valid, or make my emotions or my thought processes to feel validated. I had to learn how to create my stability in my own peace, my way, by not reacting to them. Because what I discover is that when I react to situations, when I react to their lack of reaction, or their lack of response, or their lack of commitment, whatever it is, and this goes across the board in any and all relationships. I'm not just talking about intimate relationships, but I'm talking about relationships with your family, with your co-workers, on your job, with your friends, at church, with your neighbors, when you're in the grocery store, the relationship with your hairstylist, your nail tech. Yes. More importantly, the relationship with you. So how do we find the stability in our peace? How do we give or regain or retake or recapture our power when we allow their behavior to dictate our reaction and response? See, what happens is that we react, and when we react, we do so out of our emotions. But what happens is, because we're dependent on their behavior, guess who has control of our emotions? They do. Are you ready to take control of your emotions? See, this is what I want you to understand. When you react to a thing, you give them power. But when you respond, you're in control. How is that? How is that possible, Nicole? Let me show you how. Because when you go to respond to a situation, you give yourself options and choices. It's not dictated by their actions. You're able to step away or step back from the situation. I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to step back, take a breath, look at what's really going on. And see, what I had to learn to do when I was going in my grief is I realized that when I took that step back, I wasn't looking at them. I can't control their behaviors. I started to look at me and why I was responding that way. Why did I need them to do a certain thing or act a certain way in order for me to be satisfied? Why did I need them to satisfy my desires, fulfill my emotional needs, my mental stability? Why did I need them for my peace? And I discovered that when I learned to respond to a situation, I gained control over it. And so then it was no longer a need for them to respond any kind of way. Because what I was allowed to do, when I gave myself permission to do and options to do, was to recognize what was violating my peace, my balance, and my boundaries. And that's what you learn when you learn how to grow in your grief. That's what you'll learn to do. You'll learn how to recognize what is violating your peace, your balance, and your boundaries. And in today's society, we have to learn how to take back our power, how to find the stability in our peace. by not depending on their behavior in order to do it. Are you ready to do that? Let me tell you something. When I learned that lesson right there, and it wasn't easy, because it made me realize that I was fearing the joy of my now. I was afraid of it. I became afraid to feel the joy of being happy, of just being joyful, of knowing that my mindset was balanced, my thought processes were good, my emotions are intact, or they're not all over the place. It intimidated me to feel happy. Isn't that something? Many of us will go through a lather, rinse, repeat cycle in our life, and we won't allow ourselves to grow in our grieving because we don't want to identify the fact that we're actually grieving some form or part of our lives. And we certainly don't want to acknowledge that we've put other people on our roller coaster rides of emotional craziness when we make them react and respond a certain way to make us feel better. And then we don't recognize the fact that we're really on somebody else's roller coaster rides also. When we begin to do things in order to get them to act a certain way. Oops. Yeah, we do. And so what I love about sharing this moment with you is to let you know that you're not alone in that lather, rinse, repeat cycle. Many of us are in that space. We just don't realize that's where we are. Or we don't know what it's called. All around the mulberry bush. Oh, going around the merry-go-round. Right? Are you ready to jump off of those emotional roller coaster rides of craziness? It is so imbalanced. And it does make you feel like your peace is unstable, because it is. And I want to show you how to regain the stability in your peace. When you stop that lather, rinse, repeat cycle, are you ready to do that? If you are ready to really find balance in your emotional space, to really get that peace in your mental body, to feel like you are really connected to yourself, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to subscribe to my email list. Well, why? Because I am getting ready to launch an amazing 5-week journey. It is called Grow in Your Grief. And I want my email list is going to be the first ones to have exclusive access to this 5-week course. It is so powerful. It is my journey condensed down from 5 years to 5 weeks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to really share with you how you can feel safe to acknowledge that you're grieving in whatever area in your life you're grieving in. And we're going to identify that. It's okay to admit that you're on emotional roller coaster rides, that you've been the driver in them and that you're the passenger in others. How do we stop that? I'm going to show you how to not only slow it down, but to stop those emotional roller coasters. You're going to learn how to ask for what you want, because listen, being in menopause, half the time I don't know what the heck I want. My body is transforming so much so. I've learned now over the last, like I said, the 5 years to really start reconnecting with my body physically, internally. Because I really was on a major just transformation. I had no clue. This thing called menopause is really really very interesting journey. It is mind altering. It is soul piercing. It really transforms you. And I want to show you how you can be transformed going through this process without all the craziness that comes along with it. And then those of you who are empty nesters, are you ready to activate your vitality? My God, yeah. Yeah, hello? Yes. What is your love language like now? In your 50s, in your 60s, how do you love? But more importantly, how do you want to receive it? I'm ready, like you are, to really begin to live my bliss and follow my joy. Or follow my bliss and live my joy. That's it. Follow your bliss and live your joy, people. Follow your bliss, live your joy. It's time for us to follow our bliss and to live our joy. It is time for us to follow our bliss and truly live our joy. And what does that look like? Finding stability in your peace, first of all. Are you ready to do that? I am so ready to show you how you can. Again, subscribe to my email list. The link is in the comments. The link is in the bio of you on my Instagram page. The link is also in the bio on my Facebook page. And get ready to become a part of this amazing community. Delve into this 5-week journey, learning how to grow in your grief so that we can really begin to follow our bliss and absolutely live our joy. Because we're going to learn how to activate our vitality. Yup. We're going to learn how to say yes to ourselves, ask for what we want and get it. And we're going to learn how to release the hindrances of our mind. Find the stability in your peace and really create balance in your emotional and mental space. And you deserve it. So are you ready to do that? Again, if you are, make sure to subscribe to my email list. I'm going to have the link is in the bio on my Instagram page. It's also in my bio on my Facebook page of Crystals, Diamonds, and Pearls. And I'm going to leave the link in the comments below. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Again, this is all about unstable peace, how to find that stability again. And the first thing we're going to do is learn how to stop that lather, rinse, repeat cycle. Yes? Are you ready to do that? I did it, and let me tell you, it has been absolutely a beautiful journey. It has been new relationships, new thought process, new mindset, this vitality and this desire to want to live, laugh, and love again. And not have to apologize for or explain it. Are you ready to do the same? I am so glad that you are. Thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for supporting me. I want you to do me a favor. Will you please share this video? Will you like and share it? Let people know, listen, this unstable peace is no joke. It's real. We are feeling it. It is this PTSD from this pandemic. And we're still in it. But there is a way that you can find your stability again. And that is when you learn how to grow in your grief. So make sure you subscribe to my email list and get ready for this 5-week journey. I cannot wait to share this exclusively with my email community and family. So don't miss it. Become a part. I cannot wait to see you all, to connect with you all. And know that you guys are crystals, diamonds, and pearls. You are priceless. You're precious, you're valuable, and you are absolutely so loved. Thank you for joining me. I cannot wait to chat with you guys again real soon. Have a beautiful rest of your Thursday, a fabulous weekend. Listen, the weather is changing. Yes, you guys knew I was down sick for a while. I'm feeling much, much better. I'm going to go out and take a walk and let some vitamin D hit my skin and my body so that I could just get my strength back. You ready to do the same? Hey, listen, go out and enjoy yourselves today. Have a fabulous weekend, and we will chat again soon. Thank you guys. I love you so much. Bye, y'all.